Live from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs, it's the First Dibs podcast with our hosts, John Deisty and Justin Underwood. Buckle up and let's go for a ride.
I like it.
You didn't know the guitar came back in, did you?
No, You could Lewis could do that entire intro now.
That's
even the
probably
music.
True. Yeah, no, you could play that.
So welcome back to the First Dibs podcast from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs. I'm Justin.
I'm John, and we got that right.
All right, 15 points for everybody.
Good
That's
job.
Great.
Let's see. What do we got?
We have some stuff to talk about.
We got new cars?
Yeah. Yes. My head went in a different space there for just a moment.
Is there something before we talk about cars? What do you want to talk about? Where'd your head go?
We suffered a loss in our Porsche Colorado Springs family community. It's pretty tragic, actually.
Yeah, it is.
I'm really welling up.
You want me to handle it?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay. Shane from our bike store, he was their general manager, stand-up, awesome guy. He was killed by a drunk driver on his motorcycle on Wednesday. Not super late at night, but just a tragic thing. And he's going to be seriously missed. I think our stores were different. We weren't up there, or they weren't down here. That's backwards, but all that much. But great guy, loved by everybody that knew him, that I knew, and just hearts go out to him and his family, and that whole store. I mean, I think we're a tight-knit group. The bike store feels tighter for, I don't know why, but so.
Yeah, Shane was with Joe, our GM, as far as the kind of the acquisition of that bike shop. Shane was the guy that was with the shop before Joe, and all the way through the process. And Joe had let me know that he had offered Shane like a pretty big position at that store. And Shane admitted to him, he's like, I really, really appreciate that, but that's just not me. That's not who I am. And Joe gave him a lot of credit for that, that he was willing to do that. But yeah, you're right. When we got the news, we saw a couple people from the bike shop came looking for our photographer that you people listening and watching are beginning to love, Pat, who came from our bike shop, and they just wanted to make sure that Pat, received news in a good way. And everybody is kind of like just kind of one foot in front of the other, I think, is the way that I've heard it described, as far as to, kind of move forward and just taking care of each other, in a tight-knit community. So sometimes we joke about, how this is our family. It's not a joke. I mean, this is my family.
Yeah.
So, and it hurts when you lose one of them.
Yeah, so watch out for motorcycles. Well,
please do. Absolutely.
I think, this was a tragic accident because there was, who knows what happened.
Yeah.
I didn't investigate. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all, I don't know what went on, but you see all these stories about things happening with motorcycles, and, I was talking with a great client, a couple days ago about this, and just, he was saying, if you get in an accident in a car, well, you got in an accident. You cannot get in an accident on a bike. And the majority of this stuff is, probably not the biker's fault. It's something that, we as people driving cars, make a mistake and we're fine. We walk away, and that can change the world for somebody. So keep an eye out for those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So Shane, and his partner in life, Parker. Our hearts are with you and your families.
Yeah.
And, thank you.
Yep.
So, sorry to start it in kind of a somber way, but I wanted to make sure that
it's
people
important.
actually hear that.
Yeah.
Because we know that not everybody waits until the end of the show. So that's something very important to us. If we were going to move forward into business, it has been a pretty exciting time in the Porsche car business world as far as here at the dealership. We have acquired some pretty amazing cars, here very recently. I'll spill into a couple just today. We acquired a 2015 Carrera 4 GTS Coupe with a PDK. It's carmine red with black interior.
2016?
2015,
so 991, naturally aspirated, 3.8.
Yep.
430 horsepower, center locks.
Yep. Really, really nice car. 30,000 miles. We will put it through the certified pre-owned warranty paces. We'll get that checked in here early this next week. But that's a cool car.
Great car.
Super stunning car. And the GTSs come standard with the sports chrono package. I think PASM sport suspension, 10 millimeters lower, if I remember. But it's a beautiful car. It's a really, really cool car. They actually purchased it from us as a certified pre-owned car years ago. And then didn't really drive it a ton. I noticed the license plates on it today. The last time it was registered was in 2021. So
wow.
Yeah, it's had some storage time. But that's a really, really cool car. Also very, very recently, a couple of instant collectible cars for somebody if you want to start a collection or just add to it. But a 2016 911 GT3 RS with about 167 miles on it.
Yep.
This one, it started new here with a local client. And I was kind of quasi joking around about, I love the owner had all the intent, right, to make this somewhat of a track focused car. And so right away, put a partial cage in it in the back and then harness for the driver's seat. Obviously didn't take it to the track.
Yeah.
Right. Drove it home and it stayed parked there and, maybe went to go get ice cream once or something like that. That was about it. So same thing. We'll put that through the CPO pace. It's white with black and I want to say GT silver stitching maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get that far.
But I love the interior accents are painted in body color in white, including the radio.
Yeah.
That's hot.
That's pretty special.
That's super hot.
And it has a radio.
And it has a radio, right? And then the other car that's also the instant collection is white.
It's the twin.
It's the twin.
So the 16 was the first time we saw this body shape.
Oh, right.
And then the 18 2RS is kind of that taken to its extreme.
Right.
Carbon air vents.
So that's the other car, is a 2018 GT2 RS.
With like 133 miles on
Correct.
it. But yeah, this is basically the same shape, but carbon roof rather than magnesium roof. Carbon air vents bulging out.
Yep.
The rear air intakes, like those, I don't know if you can see past me. They're carbon on the two and they like bulge out. It looks like the whole car is just flexing.
Yeah,
and
right.
bursting out of it. It's like a bro shirt.
Right.
And not belly.
Yeah.
It's not the belly busting.
Yeah. Larger wing.
Yeah.
It's just more. It's just more. And when you start it.
Yeah. When we first had those, I didn't love the way they sounded when they started.
Oh man.
Now when I hear them, I'm like, oh man. Yeah, that and seeing it just pulling in, like the big opening on the front end.
6 cylinders don't normally sound like that.
Yeah, that's pretty big and deep.
It is quite throaty. So that's an impressive car. It's a pretty car. Yeah, instant collectability.
Red and black interior,
That's
red
right.
headliner. Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
it's a good one.
Crimson and cream.
Hey, baby. Crimson
Door
and
sills.
Clover.
Yeah.
Is that the song? I think there's a song.
I don't know.
Let me see what I can find.
I'm trying to think. So that's obviously a pretty special car. So yeah, the GT3 RS, the GT2 RS, the Carrera 4 GTS. What else? What else has come in here very recently? What did you take in on trade? John's Dicey has been on fire, everybody, actually, here very recently.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, holy moly. Talking about we got a lot of inventory, and it's going away quickly, which is awesome.
Did I
Super
take
awesome.
anything in on trade?
I am not 100% certain on that. I've been busy. I've been running around.
Yeah,
like crazy.
I don't know what I'm doing right now. I have a couple of things maybe coming in on trade, but we should wait on those.
Yeah, we should.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Then we'll have something to talk about next week.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Live from Palm Springs.
Oh,
I'm not going to be here.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So
I gotta
See ya.
find. I gotta find something.
peace out. No,
Yeah.
the one finger peace.
Holy
Yeah.
moly, that's next week.
I think so. I think I leave on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I know.
What else is in Porsche news lately?
We had some training
Oh yeah.
this week. I was a little late to it, but I'm a little upset.
Okay.
And I think I need Porsche to get on their game here because the Macan was delayed, which meant Macan training was delayed, the new electric,
Yep.
which now means that they have canceled their training at Sonoma Raceway, maybe, or some California racetrack on the new 911 GTS.
Oh right.
So now I don't get to go drive. I've been here for 7 years. I have not gone to a 911 launch event.
Oh wow. Oh wow, that's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And I guess I could have gone to the Dan. I could have gone to the 992, but I didn't. I drew the short straw, or I didn't draw the short straw. I don't know how that works. But yeah, so I've never gone to a 911 launch.
That's kind of wild.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Like I want to go and do that. All the launches I've been to have been fantastic.
Oh yeah.
But to get out and rip the new hybrid GTS around a racetrack, let me talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Right,
We'll
right,
figure that out. Sounds pretty cool.
You just put something in my brain a moment ago. Anyway, the
Was
launch.
it me complaining?
No, that's just always
Yeah.
in my head.
That's how I get stuff done.
Yeah. No, I was, that you were saying something with the launch events, and I was trying to remember. They don't do a lot of sports car launch events anymore. It just feels like.
Well, so spoiler alert, the 718 is done in October.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is news. That's real news.
It's until they change it.
The 718
that's-
is the mid-engine gas car.
Yeah.
Gas
Dead.
power car.
Dead.
Boxsters and
Yep.
Caymans.
So
2025 is the last model year of the gas powered.
So get in line if you're not already.
Yeah.
And let's.
And that's all. I mean,
all of
that's
them.
the whole
Everything.
thing.
Everything.
Doesn't matter if it's a
Yep.
Boxster or a Cayman or a Spider RS or a
Yep.
GT4 RS.
Correct.
They're done.
Correct. So if you wanted to go to that launch, that would have been in 2016 or 2017. I don't know if they did one. I was not here.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe they did it with 991. Point two. I don't know. I don't know if they do the point twos.
They did. I remember, well, that was kind of a weird, goofy launch. They had kind of a car that was touring around the country, and then reps would bring him to the dealer, so we saw him
That
for like a
doesn't
day.
count. That's
Yeah,
not. That doesn't
not a
count.
launch
That's
event.
not a launch event. So really, it's a 7-year cycle then.
Sure.
And the 718 maybe didn't even get its own launch because I think I'd call that a 981.2 if I was really speaking. It's the same chassis with a different engine. So it's a 2013. So you maybe you got to go to the 2013 Boxster Cayman launch. But since then, they haven't had one to teach us about those cars.
Right.
And 911s they did because they did a whole big generational change going to 992, but I didn't get to go.
Right. Yeah.
You need the wah-wah or a sad violin button.
Right.
But yeah, I was just bummed. Like, number one, I didn't expect it. didn't expect them to do a launch event. And the launch events, it's like when I got to go down to Dallas and you guys got to tour my hotel room. Best episode we've ever had. GFYA Dicey.
That's right.
5,000 listens on YouTube alone.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
We'll try and replicate that.
Yeah, we'll do that again. But that's the whole point. If I get to go to a launch event, look what happens.
Porsche knows how to put on a good show.
They do.
Yeah.
And I've come back from everything like energized. And I think part of why I retain so much is because I've been able to go to those things.
Oh, for sure.
And Porsche does a great job with the online learning tools as well. But the online learning can't tell you how a Macan Turbo feels on the racetrack compared to a Macan GTS.
Right.
I got to experience that. It can't tell you how a Taycan Turbo S feels on track, which you're not going to do, but it tells you about handling dynamics and things that, and acceleration and braking and all that. So Porsche, do more of it, please.
Right. And it's not just that, though. Like John and myself, I guess, but we're Porsche brand ambassadors. And I think I was lucky. I was around before that all started. And so I actually got to go through the first wave of that stuff. And kind of really what it boiled down to was, like these launch events are tied to that stuff. But Porsche is a lifestyle. It just is. It's not just a car.
Look at your socks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, look at my crazy fancy socks. Yeah.
You got to get them up higher.
Yeah. Woohoo. Check those out.
There you go. Yep.
Porsche is a lifestyle.
Do those go up to your knee?
Almost. I like them.
They're really nice.
Yeah, they stay up. Yeah.
That's a lifestyle.
They're comfortable. Yeah. But it is a lifestyle.
You gave me these. Look at my.
Oh yeah. They're those are the champagne bottles popping.
Yeah. Look at that. 12 bottles popping. That's for St. Patrick's Day tomorrow.
Right. It's actually on Monday, but we celebrate tomorrow.
So
yeah, more than just a car. It's way, way more than just a car. It becomes a lifestyle. And I mean, I guess I've said for a long time, and I'm a true believer in this, that the cars, they change your life, right? And it doesn't matter if you're driving a 924 or a GT3 RS. It's just different. Like when you have the cars, it changes your day, right? When you get in that car. And beyond the day, it starts changing other things, beyond that level. And so what Porsche started doing back in 2010 or 11 was this brand ambassador program. And so when you went to training events and things, instead of like putting you in these, crazy divey hotels or having you just find your own way to get there and stay, no, when we travel for events, we stay in Ritz-Carltons, in Four Seasons, in Intercontinental hotels. Like we stay in 5-star, like the Broadmoor would be a hotel that Porsche would rent out, to do training exercises. And it's because, John needs and myself need to be able to adapt.
yeah, I mean, I can't sleep.
Well,
if I'm not in a 5-star bed.
We have to be able to adapt to the lifestyle, of what our clientele is used to. And what's really fun about going to these launch events and training events is that, sure enough, when you're staying, in facilities like this, you run into clients, and a lot of times they already know who you are. Maybe not as an individual, but from the dealership that you are. I was in Jamaica, right, for a Porsche event that was happening. And this random couple happens to stop by this little tiny kind of conference room that it was like a welcome center, for the Porsche people that were coming in. And this couple walks in saying, "Oh, I saw a Porsche sign. Like, who's here with Porsche?" "Well, everybody here." "Oh, that's awesome. I'm from Colorado. Where are you from?" "No way. I'm from Colorado Springs." "That's awesome." "Oh, yeah. I mean, I live up in Boulder, but I've heard of you guys. You guys got some amazing presence." And this guy and his wife, and we're shaking hands, and we're, like it's just a super small world, running. But we're at the same resort, that our clients are staying at. And so, like when we go to dinner, and when we take our friend clients out, we take them out, but we get to enjoy some of that stuff, right? And it's just kind of a lifestyle. It's funny how it's so much more than just a mechanical object.
Yeah. Dan is saying that if you buy one,
peace, Dan.
Yeah. Also, he's saying if you buy one, you're going to get mentioned on every one of your favorite podcasts.
Well, Dan, yeah.
Did you see that on Spike this week?
No.
So they're the 000 magazine. If you buy anything from 000 through the end of the month, you get entered to win one of the David Donner tribute 000 Turbo S's.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Yeah, pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
I think we mentioned it last week.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I haven't bought anything yet, but I'm going to. And while they were talking about the giveaway, Spike mentioned, I tell people to enter this, but you know what? I actually know somebody that won. Yeah. Remember that guy that works for Netflix? Yeah, he was at Matt Farah's party. He was telling us how he entered this thing and he won. And then he showed up the next week in he called it, I think, Mexico blue or something, but it's in the shark blue GT4. And Lieberman was like, yeah, he's here every week. He lives in Colorado. So,
He commutes to LA from Colorado.
Exactly. So, yeah, you can, you too, if you put 86,000 miles on your Spider and then win a car.
Right, and then win a car.
Could be mentioned we'll mention you if you just slip us a $5. But if you want to be mentioned on some of the big ones.
Right.
Give it a shot.
That's amazing.
I think it's pretty cool.
Well, it's super cool. Yeah. And you know what's awesome about Dan, and he's kind of told me a little of his story. Dan, believe it or not, is an introvert, right? Like not a very social butterfly kind of guy. And one of the ways to work on himself was to force himself to just strike up conversation with random people.
Yeah.
It's worked out.
Yeah. Hey man, nice shoes. I like your socks.
It's Dan, good for you, buddy, for taking a big step, right? In something that's in getting yourself out of your comfort zone. That's awesome. And look what it's turned into. So
being a bartender made me able to interact as not an introvert, because I'm an introvert as well. I would like to sit on the couch in the corner.
I get that. Yeah. I totally get that. And the people that know me best, they definitely understand that I'm very introverted as well. It's funny because when I come to work, what's the Sylvester Stallone movie where he's over the top? You know the movie I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's the arm wrestler and he takes his hat and he turns it around backwards, and that's like that's the ignition to his truck or whatever, right?
Game on,
right? Well, that's for me. Coming to work is like turning my hat around, because when I'm outside of work, I don't go around to socialize. Like if I stop off at my local watering hole on the way home, it's to eat dinner. It's not sit there to BS and make friends with everybody. It's and people. I think I give that vibe off, right? I'm like, don't talk to me. But when I'm at work, I can be social with anybody and talk about any subject, to a certain degree. And it's
Can
funny.
we try tennis? How's your forehand?
Awful.
Nice. Have you been working on your backhand?
No. Yeah.
I bet you got pretty good footwork, though.
I am horrible at running. Yeah.
You don't have to run.
My feet are too big for my body.
Are they really?
Yeah.
What size are they?
13s.
All right. You're a little oversized. I'm also a 13.
You gave me a pair of shoes once. You remember that?
No.
I still wear them.
Really? Oh, that was nice of me.
Yeah. They ordered by mistake or something like that. And you gave them to me.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Well, at least Lauren did.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren.
I believe it. That could happen. I wonder what those would have been.
They're nice. I'll wear them tomorrow. If I think about it.
Perfect.
But anyway, yeah. So outside of work, I'm definitely a loner, type individual, because I like that. That's my time to relax, maybe. But here at work,
that's the recharge.
That is the recharge. Yeah, I love coming here.
Yeah, me too.
I love being here. So anyway, I have no idea where that conversation was headed.
Tennis.
I used to play with a wooden racket, for God's sake.
Don't. Yeah. What we were talking about is the lack of training events.
Oh, sure.
And what I was saying is, like, Porsche, let's just really try to hit these deadlines. And I've never tried to build a car. Well, actually, I have tried to build a car. And at this point, I'm 22 years in to trying to build one car. Right. So I understand it's complicated. But you know what I did? I dropped out of engineering school. You guys got through it, and now a lot of you have doctorates. So come on. If you need a little pep talk, come to me. I'll help you get through this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get them on the road. Let's learn. Let's pivot. Let's make it happen. But what we were talking about is there's the delay there. The Boxster is going to be dead, and we haven't heard anything about the new Cayman Boxster EV platform.
Right.
So I'm starting to wonder if there's going to be a gap year.
Or years.
Exactly. So I don't know. I have been. I'm super excited about the EV sports car.
Sure.
I think part of the fun of that car launching is that at least at this point, if it launched tomorrow, you're first to market.
Yeah, right.
And I know we're not usually. You know, the X5 and the ML or the Mercedes M, was it the M-Class back then? I don't know. But anyway, there were multiple German luxury SUVs on the market before Porsche decided, I'm getting into that game.
Yep.
You know, and same thing. Mercedes S-Class, BMW 7 Series.
Yep.
Panamera was 30 years late to that party.
Yeah.
And changed the game when it hit. But if we could be the first to market with an awesome electric sports car, and maybe we still will be. Yeah. I don't know that anyone else is working on it. To me, there's a lot of excitement there because, you know, I know when you look around, the EV market isn't, you know, it's not 50% of vehicles on the road.
Oh, right.
You know, but there's a huge audience there that maybe isn't the traditional Cayman Boxster audience that would probably buy one because they're used to their Tesla and they're used to their Rivian, and now they've got a Taycan.
Yep.
And there's a lot of...
Yeah, they're used to their sedan or SUV.
So let's get there and let's just get it out. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm with you.
So let me know if you need help.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a good idea person.
John is an idea person.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest building in a nitrogen coffee machine into the dash, just like off a straw. You don't need a cup holder, just like a beverage receptacle in the front, and you fill it inside.
Right.
You put it in the car. It stays up in the front, and then the tube runs and comes out over your shoulder, and you just sip on it.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's refrigerated.
It's like a Camelback.
Yes.
For your car.
For your car. But it's heated or refrigerated.
Maybe I just gave Camelback $1 billion idea. Sorry.
Heard it here first. First dibs, trademark, patent pending, U.S. patent 2631-2142-B.
I'm sure we have listeners that can help us with that.
Yep.
Did you see a question?
Yeah. Yes. Stephen, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your condolences. Which classic model would you pick? 356 SC or 914-6? And last week, he had asked about the Carrera T and the Cayman GTS 4-liter.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask you a question back before we answer this. Did you buy a Carrera T or a GTS 4-liter? And as a follow-up,
what made your decision?
Yeah. And then we'll catch your classic question because I've got some ideas as to what I'd pick.
No, classics are cool. Yeah.
And it's kind of on one major issue, it's the opposite of my Carrera T versus GTS 4-liter.
Interesting.
I'm
curious to hear that.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Sidebar. Now we got to wait for Steve to
I know
type.
he'll get back to us. He also may be like up to 30 minutes behind
That's very true.
So we may be answering that question at the very, very end of the show. We're not sure where he is.
That's very true.
But I got to say, I really do appreciate the audience interaction.
Absolutely.
It makes it a lot of fun to be able to kind of just chat with people and learn what's going on. While we're filling the blanks, I have some exciting news.
Please do tell.
We have been accepted as automotive journalists.
Yes.
We have been.
Yes.
We are joining our peers, like Mr. Ryan Barkey,
Yep.
like Mr. Brendan Garst,
Like Chubba Cheddar.
and Mr. Chabachetta in the highly regarded Rocky Mountain Automotive Press
awesome.
Association.
I don't know that I'm going to put myself up there with Chubba Cheddar just yet, but
Same club, buddy. I mean, he's got more years of membership. I'm sure he might not have that many more years of membership in the Rocky Mountain Press. He like press. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's been doing it.
Yeah,
He's got it down.
he had 10
Talent.
He had 10 year before he signed
Talent, education.
Yeah.
Like all of those
of that,
metrics
yeah.
that are important. But he's got it.
We're getting our ass kicked.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But here's the important thing. When it says on your business card, it says the same thing for both of us.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we get to go to press events. And you know what I'm excited for? Driving other people's cars.
Oh, are you down? Or OPP, as in with.
Yes, I'm down with OPP. OPC. What is OPP?
Magnus Walker has a series.
Oh, other people's Porsches.
yeah, that's-
I already get to drive OPP. This is OPOS. Other people's other shit. Right? We get to drive other people's other shit. We get to like drive Toyota press cars and Honda press cars and all of this other stuff that I think I'm excited to learn about.
Oh, totally. No, absolutely.
I think it's going to make me better as a salesperson, better as a podcaster. And I think maybe we could even write some articles about the things we're experiencing.
I have a fantastic client that's become a good friend over 20 plus years, right, of knowing each other. His name's Bill. He's a lawyer up in the Denver area. He's got this amazing RS America that was a track car. Like, I mean, he used it as a track car. That was his track car. It's got a 348 Spider, Ferrari. That's just like a super fun car to drive around. He drives a 996 Cabriolet as a daily. And he had a Trans-Siberian Cayenne, right? He's had all kinds of cool stuff. Anyway, where I'm going with this, and you're kind of like this, but where Bill fits into this category, Bill has a picture of every single car he's ever driven.
The specific car?
The exact car.
Okay.
And he's a car guy. Like, he's a genuine car guy. And I'm pretty sure I've told this story at some point before. When I was a service advisor, Bill was a client, and we had an enterprise rental desk in the service drive. That was the loaner cars. We didn't have Porsche loaner cars back then. And Bill specifically requested what was it? It was a Chevy Aveo. It was a Chevy Aveo.
Oh.
And so I get a phone call from Enterprise asking, you have a client that has an appointment scheduled for tomorrow, specifically requested a Chevy Aveo loaner vehicle. And I go, oh, that's got to be Bill. He said, yeah. No, that's right. He said, one, why would one of your clients request a Chevy Aveo? And two, you're going to need to give authorization for us, because normally if we were to rent a car out like that for you, you guys wouldn't pay the bill because they're Porsche Jaguar customers, right? And I said, no, that's fine. If he requested it, he requested it. Just make sure, just put a note on there. All right, that's fine. Obviously, curiosity, so when Bill comes in, they had a Chevy Aveo, set for him. And I asked him, Bill, please do explain, why would you specifically request a car like a Chevy Aveo? And he laughs. He says, oh my gosh. He said, I saw one of those cars on the road the other day. When I was going to law school, I had a Dodge Colt. The Chevy Aveo reminded me so much of the Dodge Colt, I have to get in and try it. He said, there's a corner downtown where I went to law school. He says, like, because I went to school at night most of the time, if I took the corner just right, I could get my Dodge Colt on 2 wheels and hold it there for a good 60 to 90 feet. He says, I'm going to try it in the Chevy Aveo.
There's nothing faster than a rental car.
So anyway, he didn't get around to actually trying it, but he said, nah, he's like, it's not the same as the Dodge Colt. He could tell that. But that's when I learned that he has a picture. A lot of times the picture includes him, but he takes a picture of himself with every single car he's ever driven. And he's a car guy. He's a genuine car guy.
How many cars have you driven?
In my lifetime? No idea. Thousands.
That's a dumb number, isn't it?
It's a dumb number.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Steven is...
I bet you've done 10,000.
I would say at least.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of pictures.
It's a lot of.
That's like a dictionary.
But Bill's
not
a lawyer. He's not in the car business.
Well, I know.
You know.
Yeah. Step up your game, Bill.
Right.
All right. Circling back.
Yeah, Steven's not a full 30 minutes behind.
Nope.
So he currently has a Boxster GTS 4-liter. Will go for a T.
Yep.
Didn't exactly
Come down and drive one. We've got a delightful little.
We have awesome T's right now.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily say why he's going to go for a T, but that's okay. Let's answer his question. A 356 SC or a 914.6?
914.6.
Wow. Why?
I had never driven a good 914.
Okay.
Everyone I'd ever seen, the door handle didn't work.
Right.
You know, the top leaked. The glass was like streaked because somebody didn't replace their wiper blade and it scraped up the glass and, you know, and it was rusty on the door rockers.
Yeah.
And then we got one in that was beautifully sorted. And we had our first Classic A at the museum. And I drove it with Lewis in the car.
The 914?
The 914 from here to the museum. And then I drove a Singer.
I was going to say, no, that was a Singer.
And then I drove a Singer
Right.
from here to the museum. And the 914 was more fun.
Really?
It was not my $30,000 car.
Yeah.
And not my $1 million car.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could enjoy my $30,000 car a lot more.
Right.
My foot was on the floor the whole damn time.
Yeah. Right.
And you're passing like a Miata and looking at the bottom of its door handle.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
The thing is slammed and it was just somehow I fit. You know, it feels like maybe if you were sitting on those low-rise like lounge chairs at a nice resort,
Yeah.
because you are on the ground.
Well, and the seats tilt,
Yeah. You're slightly
but
tipped.
it's the whole seat.
Yeah, the whole seat kind
Yeah.
of tips back, kind of like a current carbon bucket,
Yeah.
and you're just so slammed in on the ground. When I thought they were the ugliest car on the planet the first time I saw one. I was like, what is that? Why it's got these big ugly orange turn signals on the
No
front?
one knows if it's forward or backward.
Yeah, what is this? I don't like it at all. But I have really grown to appreciate those. And I think the 4-cylinder car is awesome. Get rid of that and put in a 911 engine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
And the 6-cylinder is a 2-liter. I think
That sounds right.
it's a 2-liter, and the 4-cylinders are either. It's
not a 2.2?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a 2-liter, and then the 4-cylinders are 1.7 or 1.8. I mean, like, who would think that?
Wasn't there a 2-liter 4? I thought there was a 2-liter 4 too.
Maybe, but so I can't say that I've got any drive time in a 914.6, so I don't know what the experience of that would be like.
914 minus 6 equals pi. Also, it's Pi Day. But,
Pi Day.
oh, no, that's just, never mind. Google is telling me pi, and I don't know why it wants me to push a play button.
Interesting. I guess, so I'm the opposite. I would do a 356 SC, personally. Coupe. I don't know if there's another version. But 356 SC for me. My reason being is that I absolutely love driving a 356, like a really nice, well-sorted 356. And I don't know if it makes sense to people or not, but the way that I describe it is that it's like you're in a movie when you're driving the car. It feels like you're in a movie. That's the way I express it.
Yep.
Because, yes, exactly that. You got this big, giant steering wheel. You're kind of bouncing around. The windshield is so close, to your face that it's almost kind of like you're peering through a movie screen,
Okay.
And it's almost like life is surreal, at that time. Everything around you is moving fast, and you're just kind of like in your own, little element. But you're getting honks, and but like good ones, like you're getting thumbs up, you're getting people. Every time you stop, I love your car, right? And it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man or whatever. It's kind of like you step out of reality for when you're in that car. And it doesn't matter what mood you're in, like what's going on in your Porsches in general are kind of like this, but 356s are just like the trump card to that. It doesn't matter. I mean, like when it starts, especially a 6-volt SC, when it starts up, it feels like it's going to barely start. Whoop, 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 it takes off. But when it's running, when things are warmed up and you're cruising along and it, the idle side.
Oh, they're great.
It's just this super cool experience. The lights are dim.
It's classic car motoring.
It is, yeah. But you cannot drive without a smile. And just if you have a passenger, which most likely you will because you want to take your friends out and people want to go for rides with you, you talk about the car, right? And you talk about your experience in life, that revolves around the car and all that kind of stuff. And it's all positive. There's nothing negative. There's not one negative thing, that I would say about a 356, driving it. It's a good feeling.
I totally agree.
And 914s, like you, I have come to appreciate 914s more than because I didn't know anything about them in the beginning. And I've come to recognize a really good 914 from a not really good 914.
Yeah.
And they're quite fun.
Oh, great car.
They're quite fun.
And think about it with a 911 engine.
Well, like the 916 that was here.
Yeah.
Just moving that thing to the shop.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what this is like.
That's what I'd be pretending.
Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I get it. Yeah. Put a 2-liter, 6-cylinder in that thing. It is surprising that you fit with the shifter.
Yeah. I mean, not well, but I can drive it.
Yeah.
I think part of why I think that one just resonates with me and why I would flip my answer, because I think a Carrera T is closer to the SC and the Cayman GTS is closer to the 914 because it has back seats. It's an SC is a more usable car than a 914, and the 911 is a more usable car.
Well, in your world, because
in
you have
mine,
passengers.
because I have kids, exactly.
Yeah,
and so, but in this case, I think I would flip it because I don't know that I would be ever trying to put my whole family in a 356.
Yeah,
that's still just a 2-seater car in my world, and I think the 6-cylinder ripping behind me in a little mid-engine thing, being slammed on the ground with a target top. That sounds delightful.
A few years ago, I did use a 356 to haul kids around because, if you remember this, I took a sky blue. Was it the sky blue one? I think, yeah, it had to have been. I think I took a sky blue 356 to a car show up in Parker. And kids had asked, can we go? Can we hang out with you during this car show? Which meant I had to pick them up. So I had 3 kids, 2 in the back, 1 in the front, right? 2 kids had to haul. And I was like doing this transporting thing back and forth. And it worked. To your point.
Yep.
You can.
You can.
I mean, it's not obviously not comfortable, but
Yep.
like any car, if they want to go, they'll go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But yeah, and I don't know if they loved this experience or not, but it worked. It was a good time. Were you reading Brandon's question?
I am reading all of the questions.
All of them. Yeah, that's good activity. There's something about what's the best picture you ever took with a car. Jorge. Looking to get into a 911 in the near future, 991 or 992.1 GT3 or GTS hybrid. I'd rather have the GT3, but rather own a car from newer order to my spec. I also want to drive and enjoy the car. Those are, I mean, well, none of us have any seat time in the GTS hybrid, right? However, we have European clients that have taken delivery of their cars. And one expression was, I traded in my 911 Turbo S. That's how good it is.
Yep. Which I think tells you about what the car is, though. So, Jorge, have you driven GT3s and have you driven Carreras before? And which one did you like better? I think is a good question.
For sure.
I like both, and I think you could probably daily either, depending on how much of a hero you wanted to feel like. But I think my use case would dictate which one I picked.
Sure.
You know, the new, also my budget, you know, a new GT3 Touring you can get with a back seat. You're going to spec it to somewhere between, call it 300.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be more than that. So you could very nearly have 2 hybrid GTSs. Jorge says no, which I'm guessing means you haven't driven either. So you should come and drive them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, well, with the exception of the 25 GTS.
Yeah. But you can drive. To me, it's not about power.
Right.
Or it's about just the feel of the car and which one do you want, right? I am in love with the feel of a Carrera T. I think they're just this fantastic little, not overly powered, great feeling steering, great suspension. That's the perfect 911 for me.
Right.
You know, someday would I like to have a GT3? Yeah, probably, but I can't justify in my I'm too poor to have anything I want budget 2 T's versus a GT3.
Right.
I'll just give me a T. I'll be super happy. I'll die in that car and be good to go.
Right.
Honestly, it's all I'd ever need.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can watch videos and you can listen to us and you can listen to other idiots on YouTube talk about what the best one is. And we're all probably right for our own head, but we're not spending your money. It's your money and you're the one buying the car. So let's help you figure out what you love.
Yeah. So for everybody out there, there is a selling strategy. In our world, money's never the object, right? That's never an obstacle to overcome necessarily. In
our world, working here, not our world personally.
Yes. In our profession, money's not the issue. It's kind of the experience and the trustworthiness and I think moreover, the overall experience, right? So anyway, the selling strategy that I was taught, a long time ago is show people what they can have. Start out there. Meaning, someone comes in to look at Cayennes, and they don't know much about Cayennes. Tell me about them. What do you have? Can we check some out? So, the first one that you hop in a Cayenne Turbo S. The biggest, baddest of them all, right? And you go drive that. Wow. it's $200,000, right? And some people are going to be like, "Oh my God,
I'll take it."
maybe."
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like, "Holy moly, that's a lot, right?" But you showed them what they can have, and then the next one you might.
Are you saying CAN or CANT?
Can?
That's what I thought. I just want to make sure.
Can have.
Yeah.
And then the next one, like, oh, what else do you have? Then you GTS S, whatever, right? You just work your way from the lineup, but starting at the top, like the very, very top, and then just work your way through the rest of the lineup. And I think some of that has changed just a little bit, just solely because in the past, what you can have kind of translated to the most powerful, right? The fastest, most powerful car. That's what you can have. And then this is the other options that are out there. Now, everything is so freaking powerful and fast. Lupe was he took a new, pre-owned 2025 Carrera for an extended test drive because he's had no seat time in the car whatsoever.
Yeah.
When he came back, he said the regular Carrera, that is so much more than anybody would ever need. He goes, it blew Lupe's mind what that car has to offer for it. And that is the quote unquote base level.
Yeah, it's a slow one.
Where that car starts.
It only has 300. It doesn't even have 400 horsepower.
Right. Yeah.
What a joke.
So
how do you sell a car without 400 horsepower today?
Yes, you can have this, right? A new GT3 RS, right? For $407,000 or whatever. And that is, this is the car that social media talks about, every day. This is all that stuff. Is that what you want? I don't know. Maybe it is.
Maybe.
And then, but so it's become a little bit of a different obstacle now, as far as, to your point, is finding out what suits you. What do you drive now? What did you really like about the car that you drive? What are some things that you have to have, you can't have, that's what you do, as a salesperson. And so it's not necessarily that the same, that the strategy of showing people what they can have is changed a little bit because everything is so incredibly.
I like to do it the other way.
Yeah,
one of my favorite experiences with some people that are still friends today came in. I want to buy a 911 Turbo S. Awesome. Have you driven any 911s before? No. Okay. Let's go drive this Carrera S. But I want a Turbo S. I know you do, but let's just drive this instead. Fine. Holy shit, that thing's too fast. We'll take it. No, you can't buy it yet. Let's go drive a couple other things.
Right.
But I want that one. No, you just bear with me. So we drove a GTS, and then we drove a Targa, and then we drove a GT3. Whoa, what is that all about?
Right.
And then we drove a Turbo S. And now you've got ammo to make your decision.
Sure.
Because why do you want a Turbo S? Because that's what your buddy said was the best one.
Yeah.
Or because that's the fastest one 0 to 60, or that's the best 0 to whatever. It was a much longer conversation. This was over multiple days and everything. It was a fun buying experience, I think, for the client, and it was a fun experience for me too. But I think the point is, let's get some real data points in with you, right? Isaac came in a few days ago, and we've narrowed it down to he wants a 718. That's great. The 300 horsepower is plenty. That's great. He wants a manual. Perfect. He wants sport exhaust. He wants sport chrono. Okay, that became standard later. We're narrowing this.
Right.
Now we're down to what seats do I want? And we know it's not the 14 ways or the 2-way standard sports seats. It's either the the sports seat plus or the 18-way sports seat.
Right.
That has been worthwhile time.
Sure.
And I think sometimes you walk in and you've done all the research and you know what you want and you sit in and you feel it and you love it and you drive it and you're done. But, in this case, if Jorge is thinking, do I want a GT3 or do I want a GTS? Let's take some time.
Yeah.
Maybe it is one of those. Maybe it's not. Let's sit down and...
Maybe it's both.
That's true. That's the right answer. Targa GTS hybrid and a Wing GT3 manual
Right.
with buckets.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you can't have just one.
true.
Right. We're still firm believers. You need at least 5 Porsches.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like at any given time, not through your lifetime. Like at any given time, that's what you should have.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's reasons for that.
If I could
when you
only
drive the
have
cars, you'll
one,
understand why.
it would be a Dakar and a 73 RS.
That's 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to work on
John's
that.
cut off. That's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh. That's pretty funny. I like that. Those are great questions, man. Those are super fun. I'm with John. You just have to experience them.
Yeah. So 991 GT3 versus a hybrid GTS. Hybrid GTS is going to walk it in a straight line, especially up here.
Yeah.
I mean, that
yeah.
thing is going to crush it from a stop.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a straight, it's just going to blow it away. Steering feel on, I haven't driven the hybrid, but I can't imagine it being better than in the double wishbone GT3.
Sure.
So if it's about that, and the feel of shifting and the sound of an engine at 9,000 RPM, that is the swan song for GT3. Is just the extra sensory stuff.
Yeah.
Well, a Turbo S would smoke any of them in a straight line. It doesn't necessarily give me that same buzz of shifting at 9 and then shifting at 9.
Right.
And then trying to get close to shift at 9 again, but you can't because that's illegal speeds.
Nancy and I went and delivered Taycan Turbo GT this past Monday.
Yeah. Did you get all of the numbers to 1?
No.
Did you get at least a couple of them to 1?
No.
Come on.
It's not our car.
But
right.
It's not doing anything wrong.
No. Ironic is that the owner of that car was going to film. So he has a Lucid Sapphire as well. And they were going to film some drag races, stuff like that. Because when we dropped it off, he's like, okay, I only got one question. Is it faster than that? And he's pointing at the Lucid. And I just said, yes. He goes, really? He said, this is the Sapphire. And I go, doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's better.
Yep.
And he's like, well, we're going to put it on YouTube. He said, so we'll point out if you're wrong or not. Anyway, he loves the Turbo GT. He loves it so much that he wants to get another one for a daily driver. This one happened to be a Visoc version. Where I was going with this is that we brought back the traded-in vehicle.
New one. We didn't talk about it.
Arctic Gray GT3 Touring, black interior.
992.
Yeah, sorry.
Manual.
Manual transmission.
Steel brakes. Front
It's
lift.
Got 100 miles on it.
Yep.
So we're coming, as Nancy and I are coming back, because we had a great afternoon, doing the delivery with a very, very fun customer. And anyway, this is like my normal route. Like we went to Parker to deliver this car, and coming back, we just took my normal way that I come back to the dealership. And there's this on-ramp getting on I-25 that is pretty much a complete circle. And I wasn't going to push through the circle necessarily, but I just knew where my acceleration point, is going to be, because I am in a GT3 manual transmission and I want to rev it to 9. And Nancy happened to be on the phone with her stepdaughter going through some stuff. And I'm like, I don't care how loud it gets in the car. And I just went. And that car, being the GT3 in sport mode, has flat shifting, which is an epic feature
And it
in
worked?
any car. Oh, absolutely it worked. It works in town. You don't
I
have to keep going.
know. I just never
But
trusted.
anyway, and even Nancy kind of giggled, on the upshift because it, it just, because the RPMs just keep climbing. Whoa, and it keeps pulling. It never stops. It just goes all the way up to 9,000 RPM and never stops pulling. Which would make you think you just keep going, right, before into redline.
Yeah.
And anyway, it just shifts so smooth and just keeps going. I mean, and that's all it took. It took all of 4.5 seconds, right, on an on ramp to completely get your jollies.
Yep.
And then we've got another 65 miles to go, and you're happy.
Yep.
Just cruising along with everybody else. That's all it takes.
How long do you think one of those would last at 10,000 RPM?
Very long. Very long.
I think we should do that.
This is the reason I know this, right? So before I went into Porsche training, I was going to school. I was going to a General Tech school in Arizona, and I had a smart roommate that got me a job at a performance machine shop. We built drag race engines. We couldn't do top fuel because we didn't have an engine dyno that would have that much horsepower, like they could read that much. I think our engine dyno topped out at 1,500 horsepower, where top fuel is like 5,000 horsepower, something stupid like that. So anyway, one of the engine durability tests Mach Development was the name of the company. Awesome. Which it was MACH is Mach.
Yep,
which is
not MOCK.
Right. It was Manifold and Cylinder Head Development. Bud Yancer. What a name.
That's a good name.
Right, for a race car name, right? Anyway, Bud, genius machinist. I've never met a smarter individual in my life. Ever. Don't think ever will. So anyway, Bud taught me a lot. I learned more working in that machine shop than I ever learned in the tech school.
I think you told the story on the show about how you had to build an engine and you did a shortcut and then the instructor yelled at you and you're like,
it wasn't a shortcut. It was just the proper way to do it. And I got into an argument with the instructor in class.
Yeah.
And that got me in trouble.
Yeah. And you learned that from Bud.
I learned it from Bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10,000 RPM. A durability test on the engine dyno is that he took every single engine that we built. It didn't matter if it was a 4-cylinder marine engine or an 8-cylinder super gas engine. He'd run that thing and hold it at 10,000 RPM for, it wasn't a long period of time, right? But it was 20, 30 seconds, which felt like a really long time, right?
I want to do that to my Volvo.
Right, yeah. But that was a durability test. And the whole thing behind it was, if this engine will run at 10,000 RPM, you can run it at 8,000, 9,000 RPM all day long. It will hold together.
Yep.
And I believe that. And trust me, I saw some stuff come apart, right, at 10,000 RPM just because of whatever springs failed, something like that.
There's a lot of parts.
So by a manufacturer is willing to put Redline and a 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty where Redline is at 9,000 RPM,
Yep.
this car will sing up to 12 and hold it all day long.
Bet.
Yep.
Okay, let's get some new cams designed. Let's do that. Somebody
No, you
back
don't have
us.
to change anything. Just change the tune.
No, but I wanted to make power up that high.
Well, yeah. We'll see. There's a thing. There's a difference, though. Maybe it doesn't make power beyond 9,500 RPM.
Yeah, that's what I
right?
want, though. Let's make it
And
make
so it's
power
pointless.
to 12.
Ferdinand Porsche is like, why are we doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
Right? If it's not efficient and practical, why are we doing it?
Because 12,000 RPM.
Sounds cool.
Yeah,
All right, we've gone over on time.
I'm good.
Do you have anything else that you want to add before we close out?
Jorge, you should buy a knowing nothing about you. I can't tell you. I was going to try to just throw a dart. But
No, Jorge,
I just
you're here local.
Yeah,
Come by the dealership.
come hang out and
Yes,
let's help
check
you
things out.
Let's help you get the right car.
We've got one of just about everything in inventory.
Yeah.
That you can check it out and see what is a good fit for you. We're all here to help. And then we'd love to talk about your experience.
Yep.
So we invite you to the store.
Yep.
Anyway,
And Steven, if you're going to keep your Boxster, then you should get a 356 SC. If you're going to get rid of that car, then you should get a Carrera T and a 914 6.
Cool.
Yep. There you go. There's your car advice.
Okay. All right.
Should we just stop? Yeah, I won't be here next week.
Yeah.
So
I
if
gotta figure
anybody
that out.
else, Jason, if you need a place to be next Friday, Justin needs a host. So he's taking applications right now. Address them to mjlpo@PorscheColoradoSprings.com. It won't go anywhere, just like everything else. Thank you all for watching and listening. And